Hi, my name's Judy.
And I'm Ceci.
And together we are
Two Girls on a Mic. Do elevator music.
Welcome back to another episode of Two Girls on a Mic. On this podcast, we do like to talk about pretty much everything from relationships, sex, life, whether it's good or bad, you know.
Yeah, and if that sounds like your cup of tea, because everybody likes being nosy, you can sit back and relax, because today we're talking about toxic mother-in-laws. Ooh. And I'm sure many of you can relate. Even if you weren't married, you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Or even you might know somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't have a toxic mother-in-law, but I know people who do. I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah, it's something to watch other people go through it.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we like starting off our episodes here by just going over what we've done in the week or if we have anything coming up. Yep. In this case, we're going over July.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because July, we actually pre-recorded the whole month, I think, in 2 sittings, right? In 2 days. Mm-hmm. So we definitely have a lot of catching up to do. I know your month was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I traveled for the first time, I think, like out of the state without going to Nevada. Because I went to Nevada. But I feel like that's right next to us where it doesn't really seem like you're going anywhere. So, yeah, I went overseas. There we go. Overseas.
Yeah, there you go.
I went to Hawaii for the first time. And look at these little coasters.
Oh, yeah. Look what you brought.
I don't want to spill it all over the equipment. But, yeah, it was fun. I was gone for a week. It was interesting because I thought I was going to be gone for longer. And my mom was like, oh, we're leaving on Thursday. I'm like, why'd I pack for like 9 days then?
I felt like you were gone for like a week and a half.
It felt like it. It felt long over there, which was nice because, you know, vacations usually take forever, or they go by super quick.
Super quick, yeah.
But it felt really nice. It was very humid over there. I was very natural. My hair, I didn't do it once. But, you know, I don't know what it is about ocean water. Where it makes your hair like look really nice.
I was gonna say, especially if you have curly hair, it's like that beachy wave. Yeah, and it's like I love it. But,
so
you feel sticky though.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
That's you put it up in the shower and then. And I had my own bed, so I didn't have anybody worrying about how my hair smelled.
That's nice. Did you what was the funnest thing you did there?
I think being able to swim in the waterfall, because ooh. Yeah, I've gone to waterfalls before, and you can swim in it. It's optional, but I've never done it because I've always been scared that I'm gonna get pulled under the waterfall and
that's scary.
Swept away. But here, it's mandatory to wear a life vest. They give you one there.
Oh, nice.
And the water was cold, but it wasn't that bad. And I have a thing with textures and stuff, so. Thankfully, my mom bought me water shoes. If not, I don't think I would have gone in because, all the moss on the rocks, it gets slimy. And I'm like, ew. And I accidentally touched it with my hand. I was like, oh, no.
I'm a texture person, too. I don't think I would be able to. I get freaked out really quickly. Even with seaweed in the ocean, I'm just like, oh, my God, what is that?
Yeah. But it was really nice over there. The water was way nicer than over
here. Bet. Our water is you're in the swamp. Unfortunately, you know, I love going to the beach, but to go in the water, it just grosses me out.
Yeah.
Not the best. We don't have the best beaches.
We really don't.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, other than that, it's just been dealing with Freddie, and he's.
He was okay. He's not a bad dog. He's really good, and he was picking up. I know you guys were training him, and he was picking up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But then when she was gone for the week,
Matt was working, so during the day, Matt's parents were watching them, and they help us out a lot. I very thankful for them, but they baby him a lot.
They spoil him.
Yeah.
Right now, he peed on the floor, and I was just telling him no, not yelling at him, just correcting him. And Matt says no,
he's just a baby.
He's just a baby. No, don't get mad at him. I'm like, I'm just correcting him. I'm not smacking him. I'm just telling him no. So it's hard to be able to correct a dog when he has
2 different ways of discipline.
Yeah.
Like one way.
They don't reinforce, like the
Yeah.
Correcting him and making sure that he follows rules, especially because he's an indoor dog, so you don't want
a
mess all over the house.
Do not. Yeah, so since I've come back, like he's hung out with Matt's parents, but for the most part, he's wherever I am so that I can like try to get him readjusted again. Yeah. But well, it's working itself out.
He'll get there.
Eventually, hopefully.
For me, what did I do for August? July.
We're not there yet.
July. Nothing much. Just go to work. I was counting down the days that Cecilia was gonna come home. So, but other than that, not much. Just go to work, hang out, relax, clean out my closet because I've been meaning to do that because I am going through this phase because of TikTok. I'm trying the minimalistic approach of like just lifestyle in general. So I've been like throwing a bunch of stuff that I don't need. Like I don't need 10,000 cups because I don't even use cups like that.
That's
so just
debatable.
So just going through the house, just trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. Whether there's some that needs to be trashed out, others that I can just donate. So some that were donated to Cecilia.
I did that with my makeup recently.
Oh, really?
Because I am a hoarder. Same. And I had makeup from like 2017, 2018. I was like, why do I have this? I can't wear it.
Right.
Because it's like going to break me out.
Yeah.
So I finally like didn't even look at the dates or anything. I'm like, do I wear it? No, throw it away. Or like put it away, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we got new mics.
Oh yeah, obviously you probably can see
and hear the difference. Hopefully,
yeah. Because I don't know if they saw our other mics.
Oh yeah. In some of the older videos, we've been using the same mics for the last.
But for sure, the quality is amazing.
So hopefully, you guys hear a difference. And that leads us into our thankful segment, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm just off the top of my head, I'm going with Matt's parents because without them, this week that I would have been away would have been like 10 times worse for Freddie and Matt.
Yeah, so I bet.
Yeah, I'm thankful for them.
I would say I'm thankful for just life in general. I think especially with the podcast, I think we're venturing out a little bit more and reaching out to people and stuff that we normally, well, at least I would normally not reach out because I'd be like, no, I'm gonna get a no, I'm gonna get rejected. I'm like, I need to practice what I preach. So I've been reaching out to people and not taking it personal if they say no or whatnot. So I think I'm thankful for life and being able to even have the opportunity to have a podcast, whether even if it doesn't get to where I want it to get. I mean, just the fact that we have almost 2,000 listens, that's crazy to me. Yeah. So that's what I'm thankful for. Yeah.
So thank you guys. Now that we have like those fun little segments out of the way, we're going to get into the meat of this episode now. So yeah, we're going to be adding, Judy had an idea for a hot take little segment.
Yeah, in regard, like related to the topic. So
yeah. And yeah, today's toxic mother-in-laws. And look, I know that toxic mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, whatever, are a thing. Yeah. Thankfully, in my experience, I have not dealt with one, but I have seen other people like deal with theirs. And I'm not saying that all relationships are like this, but from what I've seen firsthand is they kind of bounce off each other's energy. So it's not completely uncalled for when they're saying, oh, their mother-in-law is being like a bitch or whatever. Right. It's like, I've seen how you act with his family or her family, whoever. And I feel like you guys just bounce back and forth. But again, I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm just saying it could be a possibility.
I think, honestly, the reason can vary, honestly. Because sometimes some mother-in-laws are just, toxic in general. Because I get it. Being a mom, sorry, I keep touching your face.
I know, you want to play footsies?
I know from a mom's point of view, I get it. They're your babies, you don't want to share them, all that stuff. But at the same time, your kids at the end of the day are not gonna be for you.
Yeah.
They're gonna end up having their own life, their own wives or husbands or whatever. And you have to let them be and learn from that. If you do see that they have like a toxic partner, all you can really do is kind of talk to them, and if they listen, they listen. If they don't, I mean, they're gonna have to eventually see it on their own, because at that point, even if you're trying to do good, in their eyes you're trying to do bad, because you're not accepting of the person, even though you obviously notice that the person isn't the best, but they're not gonna listen to you, because they're gonna see it as you're trying to come in between us, instead of it being actually a good thing you're trying to do. But so sometimes being a toxic mother-in-law doesn't necessarily mean you really are. It's you just trying to help because the person that they're with is not the best. And sometimes you really are just being a toxic mother-in-law, where you're just trying to hold on to your baby and not share them, and that's not okay.
Those are the ones that like kind of gross me out. Like I shout out to Two Hot Takes, because we're doing something very similar right now. But I think she did an episode where like the mom kind of raised the son to be like her perfect man, and then when he got to the age of like where he started dating and like doing all this stuff, she didn't like whoever she brought around, because like in her eyes she kind of wanted.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's
so
gross.
Stuff like that, it's weird. Like obviously you want to raise your kid to be like
a good version of a man, you know,
exactly,
somebody who
you would want your own daughter to date or something, right? Not in a weird way, but you have to be able to let go of that instead of trying to keep it with you. Because what good is that going to do? That's just weird.
Not just that, but like also specifically when it's the mom and the son, where the son doesn't even stand up for their wife or their partner in general. It's like, you know, your mom is being a complete like bitch or toxic person to your significant other, and especially if your significant other is trying their best to kind of build a relationship or whatnot, and your mom is just completely like not even trying. And you know,
that's when it's like you can only do so much before like you have to be like, okay, I don't want to say completely stop seeing your mother-in-law, especially if they're important to your partner, but you
setting boundaries.
Rethink like, okay, maybe instead of going and seeing them every weekend, we could go like once a month or once every other weekend to start. So, but that comes back to like you and your partner too, and what boundaries you set with each other and your family. So and so forth.
And I think just because they're your parent, whether it be a toxic mother-in-law or father-in-law, do you really want them in your life if they can't even respect their partner? Where yes, they're being nice to you, but they're being a complete like maybe disregarding your partner in general. Like they come in, they don't even acknowledge them. I mean, how fucked up is that? You know, I wouldn't want to be around my in-laws if that was the case, or even around my parents if they would not even acknowledge Derek at all. I mean, hello, he's a person, you know. That's just a respect thing, you know. It's a human being. Acknowledge that the person is here, whether you like them or not, you know.
So if your mom is the one, or mom or dad again, but we're focusing on moms today, if your mom's the one that's pushing buttons, you should have a talk with her.
You definitely have to check your parents sometimes, because it's hard, because I've had to check my parents, not in regards to that, but other things. And it's hard because I'm like, oh, I don't want to overstep. Like, I don't want to disrespect them, especially coming from a like Hispanic household. You always have to respect your elders and whatnot. But sometimes you have to respectfully, you know, correct them and say, hey, that's not okay to say, or, you know, whatever the case is. And I think that's something I've struggled with my parents, because well, at least my dad, he's very traditional. I'm just like, dude, you can't.
Yeah, that's how I am. Because like my parents are not old, so like with my dad and mom, like they were raised that traditional way, but they're more open to listening. So like if they say something like, hey, like can't really say that anymore.
Right.
But my grandparents, I won't even, because they're not gonna, what are they gonna do? They're gonna laugh at me and be like, oh, okay, so sensitive, whatever.
Right.
It's like, okay, at some point I know when to not push it anymore, because then it's just gonna cause more problems.
You pick and choose your battles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found this, I think it's a subreddit. I don't know the terms of Reddit yet. But it's called Mother-in-Laws from Hell.
Oh my God, that sounds...
Yeah. So we're just going to read them and give our opinions on them. And yeah, let us know if you guys agree or disagree with what we have to say. I'm just going to move everything ever so slightly.
So is it the first one, how not to blow up on her?
How to not blow up on her, yeah.
All right, let me read this. Okay. How to not blow up on her. I really need advice about how to not really freak out and yell at her. I've never been the type of person to hold back or refrain from saying how I feel. This is the first relationship I've had where I haven't been able to be open. So we're getting an apartment together and she's helping us move in. I'm assuming that's the mother-in-law. I told my significant other months ago I do not want her there to help, but she invited herself anyways. How do I keep it civil? Shouldn't he be the one setting boundaries? I can't stand being in the same room as them. Same room as them together. How can I get through this entire move and her staying in town in a hotel for a few days? How do I not curse her out and kick her out of our new apartment?
Yeah. So that's right there, going right away to boundaries. So I'm assuming it's a woman who's moving into an apartment with her boyfriend, or I don't think husband.
Significant other, so.
Yeah, and his mom is the one that's causing these issues. So yeah, right away from the bat, she told him that she didn't want the mother-in-law to be there, and he kind of really didn't do anything when she showed up. That's what I'm getting from this.
Because my thing is, like, did he have a conversation with his mom, and his mom still came? Yeah. Or did he just disregard and didn't say anything and hope for the best?
And I feel like it's that one, because she's not saying that the guy said anything when his mother-in-law showed up. I feel like if you would have had that conversation, maybe not talk to your mother-in-law, but pull your partner away, be like, hey, I don't know why she's here. Like, I talked to her about it. We had said she was going to come, and now she's here. So the fact that, but again, this is only from her perspective, so I don't know what's going on.
Because I have a lot of questions, like, why can't you send her? What has she done to you for you to not like her that much?
Yeah.
Like, what's the backstory? Because
Exactly.
I'm not getting anything from there. Say, you know, she makes her feel uncomfortable and whatever, then I would understand your partner should have talked to her and say, hey, maybe not say she doesn't want you there, but, you know, we don't need help. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Or it's already moving is already stressful enough.
For sure.
So, like, having other people there, I know I would be annoyed no matter who it was. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to get into our new spot situated, and I have this person. And I'm just going based off of my relationship with Matt's mom. I love Matt's mom. And she always tries to be very helpful. And sometimes I'll be like, what's the word? I'll be like already like scrambled in my head. Yeah. And she'll try to help me. And I appreciate it. But like in my head, I'm like, oh, but I was going to do it a certain way. And I don't want to tell her no, because then she's going to feel like whatever. So I can understand that part of it, because I feel like if Matt and I were to move and they would be helping us, I think I'd get a little annoyed.
My thing also is, like, if you already have this kind of relationship or not a relationship with your significant other's mother, like, why are you pursuing this relationship? Like, why are you trying to move in? You first have to talk to your partner and say, this is how I feel about your mom. This is what she's done, blah, blah, blah. Try and fix it. And if it doesn't work, then at that point, you know, set the boundaries like, hey, I want to continue this relationship. Like, I see a future, but I want to set boundaries with your mom. Like, she can, you know, come here whenever she wants, or whatever the case is. But moving in is like a big thing. Yeah. So my thing is, like, if he's already not listening to that, like, then that's a red flag for me. I'm just like,
like, hold on, movers.
All right. It's like, wait, we have to move everything back.
I know. Let's backtrack. So that's that one. But yeah, if you're like uncomfortable with like your significant other's family to the point where you talking to them isn't fixing anything, then unfortunately, you have to like take a step back and be like, okay, everything's connected to my partner, and my partner can't do anything or
chooses
doesn't
not
want
to
it. Yeah. So that's when you have to make those hard decisions that like, yeah, it's going to hurt, but it'll be better in the long run.
Yep.
Okay, this one's a long one.
Oh, that is a long one.
All right, this one's, should I have lied to my mother-in-law? Before starting this story, it will be helpful to say that my husband and I have been looking for houses closer to his family, but decided before his particular event that while we love them dearly, they are a little too toxic for us to be in the same neighborhood. It makes me think of my dad, because my dad moved up to where we were with my family, and we're all like, they're all really close now. So I love my mother-in-law. She does get sometimes out of hand when she's feeling emotional, and on a few occasions has called my husband and said very nasty things about me. Normally, I'm able to just get over it, but I won't lie, it does hurt when she does it because I care about her and her opinions. So it doesn't seem like they're like neck and neck.
I was going to say, you love your mother-in-law, but she's said these things. Like, how do you still care for your mother-in-law when she's like said these things? But
recently I was on a trip. My husband was home with my toddler, and my toddler was sick. While away, I called her pediatrician, and they were not concerned and said specifically I should not bring her in because her symptoms weren't alarming and that it was just a stomach bug that was going around and through daycares. My mother-in-law called my husband and basically said I was an awful mom for not making an appointment for the doctor and for being away while my toddler was sick. He did not let her continue and started yelling at her, so she hung up on him. Well, at least he stands up for her.
I was going to say, that's a good sign there. That's a good sign.
Yeah. A few days later, we were at my mother-in-law's, and she asked why we decided not to look for houses there anymore. So I blurted out that the family has some toxic tendencies. She asked for an example and pushed until finally I gave her the most recent one, which happened to have been her calling my husband. As I said it, I immediately regretted it, but it was too late. She ended up not really listening to our points and just got very defensive. Then when we would ask her for something, she would just say she doesn't want to say anything to us because it's toxic, kind of dismissingly, not really trying to explain herself or even understand where we were coming from. That's so annoying. I hate when I get in an argument with, and it's always with family too.
Yeah.
And they just like shut off everything and they're just like, I'm not going to listen. It's annoying. I know this is because we really hurt her feelings and I feel terrible for it. She does a lot for us and she does a lot for our toddler. And truthfully, I love her very much. I feel very lucky to have her in my life. I tried to explain calmly that it really wasn't her and that I just used that as an example because it was most recent and it did hurt my feelings. I also said that I do so much for my toddler, but she only talks about the negative things. But she just continued to talk over me. There was even a point where she took my toddler's musical instruments and just started drumming over my speaking. That's
so childish.
I know. How old is this mother-in-law? She has to be old already.
Yeah.
She didn't apologize, but she did say that she said those things to my husband because she was upset with my choice of listening to the doctor and not making an appointment. We left her house and I feel horrible, like I should have just lied and not said it at all. My husband is happy I said what I said because he feels that she needs to understand that it's not okay to call him and speak poorly about me again. Again, this is not the first time. I feel like maybe I should have just dealt with it because I know she can say hurtful things when she's upset. Any advice? Please no mean comments about mother-in-law. I'm just at a loss right now and I'm pretty upset with how it happened.
I'm surprised that she takes her mother-in-law's feelings into account. Like, that just shows the kind of person that she is, that she really is trying and she sees the good in her. But I personally would not be okay with my mother-in-law talking shit. Being upset doesn't give you an excuse to say whatever you want and then just say, oh, my bad, I was just, emotional or I was upset. Like, no, you say those things because you truly mean it. Yeah. Because when you're in the heat of the moment, you're saying things that you want to say for a reason. Yeah.
It's good of the husband, like, saying that, she did the right thing, whatever. But I wonder if he has had any conversations with the mom. I'm hoping he has, but based off, like, everything that's happened. But... yeah, same thing. Like, if the mother-in-law is acting like a little kid who's throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her own way, like, how much can you really do? And the fact that she still has, like, respect for her. And I understand it because I'm trying to think of it. Okay, what if Matt's mom did that? After she's treated me so nice and everything, it'd be like, okay, like, it's a bump in the road, obviously. It's a pretty big bump, but...
Yeah, but it seems like she's constantly doing it whenever she doesn't do something that she approves of.
And she does it behind her back because she calls the husband. Yeah. And it's like, do you not think my husband's going to talk to me?
Not just that, but it's like, okay, the doctor said it's fine. It's a stomach bug. What else can they do at the doctor's if the doctor literally said it's fine? Mm-hmm. If the symptoms would have been more severe and it would have gotten worse, obviously, yes, then go to the doctor. But what... Like,
that's what the dad was home with him, like, but with the little girl. Like, he could have handled it if she was so upset about it. Mm-hmm. He was the one that was with her. Yeah. So.
And that's the thing that I dislike, that if it would have been the other way around, where her son was out on vacation and she was with the kid, she wouldn't have been upset. Yeah. But because you're a mom, because you're the woman, you have to be with your kids 24/7, and that's fucking bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like, that's so annoying, you know?
Yeah. So, advice:
cut ties.
Move as far away as you can.
For sure. Because it seems like your husband has your back, so please.
Yeah.
Cut ties, move far away from her, and obviously still keep communication, but don't go out of your way to mend that relationship, because obviously she's not trying to. She couldn't care less. Yeah. You know? So she wasn't even trying to listen to her.
Literally, yeah. So if you still have the respect, like you're saying you do, like, I would say, like, a phone call, like, every once in a while, just so that way you can know that you're okay with what's going on. Mm-hmm. Unless, like, I don't know, I hope she wouldn't, but every time you call, she'd be like, oh, are you serious? Like, you moved away, and now you're, like, expecting things to go back to normal. I hope it's not that way, but, yeah. I mean, at least your husband's on your side.
Yeah,
just move out. Move out of that neighborhood.
For sure. That's just, you don't need that negativity in your life at all. Okay, next one. How do I survive a narcissistic gaslighter mother-in-law? Oh, you don't.
Good luck.
My partner and I got married less than a year ago. He used to be a little distant from his family, who lived in a different city. I never understood why. When we started with the wedding planet, I understood within a few weeks. My mother-in-law was so demanding with what we can do and can't at our own freaking wedding. She invited her own guests after her son repeatedly telling her not to. She lied. I know, right? She lied about several things, like making a demand about something, her son refusing to meet the demand. She agreed to it, and later at the time of our wedding, just blatantly doing whatever she originally planned without letting us know. So pretty much planning her own freaking wedding.
I know.
Whenever confronted, she would then claimly... What? Whenever confronted, she would simply gaslight us, saying that she did not do such thing, insulting us by her words, and then claiming that she did no such thing. My husband had to empty out his entire savings just because she wanted a grand wedding, and believed that all this craziness would die down once we were through the wedding.
I'd be so mad. All of his savings?
Whose wedding is this?
Literally.
Like, oh my God. Of course it didn't. She started being worse after we got married, and all the acts dropped, just being very condescending, having an opinion about everything we chose to do. We tried to tell others in his family that this was unfair treatment. It was getting unbearable, but his siblings and father and most of the extended family seems to think that this behavior is completely normal. Oh my God. That a mother has all the rights to do everything she wants because she cares. My husband and I aren't on talking terms with them anymore, and he's not doing well since then. He probably wasn't aware of all this because he moved out almost a decade ago, and need reassurance from people who have cut out family from their lives that things will get better.
Wow.
You put your son in debt.
Yeah. Why would you even... I understand... Sometimes I could understand that the bride's mom would want a big wedding and stuff. This is the groom's mom. And like, why? Why do you need them to have a huge wedding?
Not just that, but like, why would you want your own guests? It's not your wedding. It's not your party. And if you do, you pay for the wedding. Exactly. Don't have your son pay for it. Like, if you want to do things, then pitch in and say, hey, I want to do this for you. Here's whatever money to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, it's tough because obviously he paid for it. He emptied out his savings, but now he gets it now. He's like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And I can understand that. But it's like, why... Where was the dad? Like, they said that it was normal behavior, right?
Yeah, I feel like she gets away with a lot of things that they don't, that the family's like, oh, whatever, it's another thing that blah, blah, blah is doing. It's fine. She just cares. And they don't put any boundaries or, like, talk to her and say, hey, that's not cool. Mm-hmm. So that's to them, it's like, whatever. But oh my God, no. I would cut ties so fast.
Yeah. Because if she could do that, imagine what she would do, like, with your kid or...
I was going to say, imagine...
A baby shower, random strangers show up?
Not just that, but, like, say she goes and takes your kid to get their first haircut without you. It's like, excuse me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she definitely gives off that energy.
How do you survive? You move far away and you, like... Don't ever speak to her again.
Cut off ties. I personally, I've distanced myself from some family, and I don't want to say it's the best thing I've ever done because I honestly don't really think about it. So that if that helps, you don't really think about it too much, and if you do, it's like, oh, good riddance,
Yeah, and I feel like because it is the son's mom, like I'm sure it's gonna hurt, but it seems like he doesn't really want to, given how his mom is.
He knows that it's not going to change.
Yeah, and if anything, if he still wants to have some kind of relationship, not completely cut ties, maybe, like, visit or talk every, like, so often, like,
Mm-hmm. Just limit your time with them.
Yeah.
Or his time if you don't want to see him.
For sure, yeah.
All right, next one is, am I overreacting? This is from the male's point of view. Right? No, never mind. It's from the females. My 28 female fiance, 26 male, and I have been together for a little over 2 years. When I met my future mother-in-law, I was like, what is that? 60 female. She was super sweet and hospitable, offering me something to eat or drink and making sure that I knew to make myself feel at home. We engaged in small talk conversations, which is okay because we didn't know each other. Now, 2 years later, and it just all seems fake. She doesn't know anything about me other than my profession, and she doesn't talk about anything other than herself or how great of a man my fiance is. With a splash of interrupting conversations between me and my future father-in-law or fiance to tell me about her childhood trauma. And in quotes, it says, literally trauma dumping on me. Or making comments about me having kids. When she talks to my fiance and doesn't know that I'm around, she refers to me as your girlfriend. Oh, I mean fiance.
That's so annoying.
Yeah. Which makes me feel like I'm just another replaceable woman. There have been several occasions where she just makes me feel so isolated and not part of their family. She's extremely intrusive about mine and my fiance's relationship when he's not around, asking me questions like if I really love him and if I really want to get married to him. But I do not feel comfortable talking to her about any of that because she doesn't seem to want to get to know me at all. She's not the mother-in-law from hell, but there are so many small things that make me dislike her to the point that I don't want to be around her at all. That this is especially difficult because my fiance just says that she's just being nice and doesn't know how to talk to me. I find it weird, and I'm the only person that she doesn't seem to know how to talk to normally.
I for sure would sit down and just really think about this relationship. Because it seems like you're engaged, so the next step would be marriage.
Yeah. And at this point, if he's your fiance is seeing all this happening and he's like, oh, it's just how she is, I would, if you haven't already had like a really deep talk with him and he just keeps saying the same thing, then you should reconsider marrying, like not marrying into the family.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, it's hard because you love the person, but they come with baggage.
Especially if you've already committed to this person for like years, you know? That's like, it's hard to just completely throw that away.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, do you really want to marry into a family that's going to be like this, and then your future husband is not willing to back you up or you know, defend you or whatnot?
Yeah. And it's like the comment that she said about your girlfriend, fiance. I feel like she's almost trying to belittle her by saying, oh, like, you're just the little girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I could understand, like, if you recently got engaged, like, you know, you mess up sometimes, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this isn't the case.
And I feel like she's doing, like, very subtle, you know.
Little jabs.
Yeah, and I think her son is like, oh, you know.
It's just like, she just doesn't know. She's a little awkward.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like, no, that's not okay, so.
Yeah, and the fact that she, like, when they're talking about something else, she'll come in and start trauma dumping. That's like, okay, she needs to have the attention on her.
For sure. For sure.
And that's super annoying. Because, like, I could only imagine you're just sitting there having a conversation about, I don't know, what do you have conversations about? And then your grandma, your mother-in-law comes in like, yeah, when I was a kid, this happened.
Yeah.
Like, read the room.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had with your fiance, and you know, figure that out, and just say, really, just see the way your mom is treating me. You know, like really, just look at the way she's treating me and have him see what she's doing. Yeah, because if he's not, if he continues to say no, you know, she's fine, then I definitely there's some consideration to do there, whether you want to move on with the relationship or not, because marriage is it's a big thing. I mean, yeah, and you don't want to spend a bunch of money and then get divorced. Like,
exactly, divorce rates are high. You don't want to be one of them. But yeah, that's that.
Okay, I think this is the last one.
Yeah,
or second to last. Okay, am I the asshole for yelling at my future mother-in-law?
Depends.
Let's see. I, 19, female, found out I was pregnant by one of my closest friends, 19 male. That's rough. He is aware I am not ready for a relationship and is agreeing to co-parent and be an amazing father. Wait, she got pregnant by her close friend?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Okay. We have only told my parents because they were there when I took the test. I was staying at his house when I woke up to blood and lots of it. Keep in mind, I had found out I was pregnant the same day, so I took more tests, and they all kept saying the same thing, that I was pregnant. I got afraid and forced my best friend to take me to the hospital. We were there for almost 8 hours and had yet to be seen. His mom, 56 female, went into his room and saw all the tests. She called and texted him and immediately bashed me, saying I was baby trapping him, that I'm a dishonest person and just a terrible person, and the baby couldn't happen. I was already afraid that I was losing the baby, and she added more stress and also really hurt my feelings because I love her and see her as someone I could go to. When I finally got seen, they told me I was between two things. I was either really early because of my blood work saying I was a 35.7 on my level, but when we took the ultrasound, they couldn't even find a sac or baby, which leads to opinion 2. I was indeed losing the baby, but they couldn't tell. They told me to keep taking tests and watch the lines. With all the stress, I blame myself. I woke up still bleeding a lot and took a test to see a line so light it didn't even look like it was there. I started crying knowing I lost my baby. I called the father, my best friend, and told him. He was heartbroken but doesn't blame me. His mother texted me and screamed at me for not only baby trapping but ruining his son's life. She was blaming me for, even though it was both our faults. I finally snapped after another paragraph of her saying I was only friends with her son to get pregnant by him. I told her that her dear baby boy wanted sex, and we got pregnant. I guess what? Keep it up and you wouldn't be in its life. So she complained to her son, who didn't see I was in the wrong. He knows the past 48 hours have been very hard time for me, and I am very emotional and standing by my side with it. I'm still bleeding, and I'm in a lot of pain. Am I the asshole? Hell no.
No, this is a lot to happen.
Why would you even put that much? No, okay, knowing that somebody's pregnant, whether she was trying to trap him or whatnot, you don't put that stress on a person who's already bleeding, who may be losing the baby.
Yeah. Like that's that. Like, if you know the situation, like she's having a hard time, she's in the hospital. Like, obviously, being in a hospital for that long I don't think you would think good things are happening, especially if she's early in the pregnancy. Yeah. So the fact that you could know that and be like, oh, well, it's my son. And again, it takes two to tango.
I was gonna say, you don't make a baby by yourself.
Exactly.
You need both, Yeah. So I'm just like, I mean, you kind of, if you did lose the baby, sounds fucked up, but I mean, having to deal with
that mother-in-law, it's messed up, but it's like a blessing in disguise almost, because then you would have had to your whole life, because obviously,
because I could only imagine how she would have been either two ways. One, she would have loved the kid but hated you and made your life a living hell, or she would want nothing to do with that grandkid, and then you feel fucked up, because you always want your kids to have a relationship with their grandparents.
You're right. Yeah.
And that would hurt if she would just not want to have anything to do with that kid's life, Yeah.
So, I don't think, definitely not the asshole. Honestly, I probably would have done worse.
Oh, yeah, I would have completely went off.
Yeah. But, and the fact that I know that he's young, 19, but still, he's old enough to know. And that he's saying that, like, she complained to her son, who didn't see I was in the wrong. So, I don't understand what's happening here.
Say it again?
She complained to her son, who didn't see I was in the wrong. So he
was supporting her.
Okay, good. Okay, because at first I was like, wait.
So her mom was saying, like, can you believe what she did? And he was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
she was being a bitch.
Yeah, that's frustrating, and especially because she's older already, and she's only 19, and again, you're young at that time. You're gonna do dumb stuff. Unfortunately, pregnancy has come up recently that early. Yep. But the best you could do is okay, suck it up. You have the options now to do whatever you want. If you want to keep the baby, that's on you. If you don't want it, that's on you.
Why would she even say the baby can't happen? That's not your choice. It's literally the mom and the dad's choice if they want to move forward with the pregnancy.
Exactly.
Or not.
Yeah.
So at this point, you can be upset all you want, but it's not your decision. It's not your life. They have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You can you can not be okay with the decisions, but at the end of the day, your opinion matters nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. At least you don't have to deal with her. But sorry for losing your baby. That's very upsetting. Okay, the next one. This is the last one, and it has the most upvotes, I believe it's called. So, and it's a little long too. So, hang on. I'm so tired of everyone telling me to, quote, just be nice to my mother-in-law. Me and my fiance found out we had a surprise baby on the way after being told I had fertility issues, and then mother-in-law's boyfriend purposely screwed us out of our savings on a bad car. Ugh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, already. And it's not even the mother-in-law, it's her boyfriend.
Oh my God.
My pregnancy experience was essentially ruined because of this, constantly paying for repairs while saving for maternity leave, car being broken down half the time, worrying about transport to doctor's appointments, worrying about how I'll get to the hospital 40 minutes away if I'm in labor, having a baby that needed extra care, and having to ask my friends for rides 2 hours round trip to get my son to his appointments at the children's hospital because the shit car wouldn't make it. I stopped asking her for help with transportation because she would send her boyfriend to drive me, and he stranded me at the doctor's office because he wanted to go home and cook.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I was spending $100 a week Ubering from the doctor several times a week because my blood pressure was so high. I was forced to ask her to bring us home from the hospital because our planned ride got the flu, and then there I was, pulled over on the side of a busy road with my 2-day-old baby in a car while she talked to her boyfriend. That's so irritating.
Oh my god, dude. I feel for her already.
Uh-huh. Then making an unexpected pit stop out of the way for her boyfriend. It seems like the boyfriend's the issue here. And the mother-in-law, but boyfriend. All the while, she is writing for this man. She did not care that he screwed us over. She defended him, and she did not care that the car was too unsafe to put her grandson in. We cut off ties with the boyfriend completely, and she wasn't allowed to bring him around anymore. Then her and her other son hid the fact that they were sick and came over for Christmas. Oh, that's
so annoying.
Oh, never do that. Babies are like...
Especially that young, and you don't want to deal with a sick baby. Like, it's such a pain in the ass.
And you feel so bad. Like,
because they can't tell you what's wrong with them, you know?
Yeah. Didn't say a word till after the visit, and it was just a tickle. A week later, I'm in the emergency room with a sick baby that I had to borrow a car to get to. Then the car dies again. I lost it. I told my fiancé I needed space from them, and he relayed the message to her. Then his brother messages me, insulting and threatening to physically harm me 2 weeks postpartum because how dare I keep his mother away from the baby. That's, like, call the cops at that point.
For sure. Like, why would you...
Yeah. We cut ties with him. She oversteps and adds said brother to video calls to see my kids. I snapped. I forced them to buy the car back for a fraction of what I put into it, or I was done with her too. After 6 months, I tried to be the bigger person and arranged a date to go to his family's house. Mother-in-law refuses to come because her boyfriend wasn't invited. Boo-hoo. Like, do you want to see your grandkid or not? We end up buying a reliable car, and my fiancé sees his mother on his own time. She was allowed to see my kids, and I successfully avoided her for 3 years. We threw our first real birthday party last week since COVID, and I had no option other than to see her. She does not speak English, so there was no conversation to begin with, but I pretended she wasn't there, aside from yelling for her to put our infant down until she washes her hands. Yeah, that's... She should know. She's a mom.
For sure. But I feel like it seems like she may be, like, not made... There's, like, a cultural difference.
Yeah, it seems
she doesn't
like
speak English, so that may also be the issue, that they don't see
eye to eye on it. Yeah. And after everything, even my own family was telling me to be nice and welcome her. Why? I will never get to experience the excitement of my first pregnancy. She can't take the postpartum depression back. I dreamed of my first pregnancy my whole life, and the experience was ruined, and I never got an apology. Just excuses. Why should I be forced to forgive? Why should I be obligated to make anything more comfortable for her? Last night, I found the birthday card she got my son, and she referred to herself as Mama. That's weird. Again, after I asked my fiancé to nip that in the bud, me and my fiancé will be starting couples therapy in the coming weeks over the damage his family has caused to my mental health and our relationship. I just needed to vent.
For sure, I feel for her because just pregnancy in general is already stressful as fuck, especially if you're a first-time mom. Like, you're already stressing. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what to do. And add all this bullshit. It's like...
Yeah, and like...
What?
I'm thinking of it like, okay, say there is a cultural difference. The husband, I'm assuming, is the middleman who, like, can help them communicate better. And they're going to couples therapy. So I'm assuming it's a tough situation for him too, because, like, yes, it's your family, which I feel like your family should always go first after you have kids and, like, are building a life with somebody. Should definitely, like, pick them over your mom. And so I don't know. I feel like he needs to make up his mind.
They need to take her feelings into account. Just because the mother-in-law maybe doesn't understand or whatever the case may be, she's still doing something that is making the wife
uncomfortable or unhappy, whatever. Yeah, and especially now, you know, mental illness is being taken more seriously now than ever. For sure, yeah. And we've said it before, it doesn't matter who you are in relationship to us. If you're causing us to not feel good about ourselves or just not feel good in general, then it's okay to cut ties there. Yeah. It's easier said than done, of course, but definitely something that everybody should look into. Like, if your mother-in-law makes you unhappy, cut her off from you. Like, yeah, figure something out between you and your partner.
For sure.
And if you can't, then, yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of...
You got to look into it even further.
For sure.
So that was our Reddit stories, toxic mother-in-laws. That was a lot.
That's intense. Like, I am so blessed not to have to go through that. But that's a lot.
Yeah, that's it for the toxic mother-in-laws episode. Next week, we kind of want to do, like, something relating to this episode. Right. So we're going to be doing about setting boundaries. So, yeah, look out for that one next week. And if you want to follow along with us on our social media, everything, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I think that's all we have, is at Two Girls on a Mic.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, so go ahead. Our own personal social medias are in the description if you want to follow us along. Yep. But that all being said, whoa, I forgot.
With all that being said, you will see us.
Yeah, see us
on the next one.
Bye. I'm recording now.
Okay.
I'm just going to drink my coffee because I obviously need it.